What's up, guys? It's Mikey McNuggets here. It is Saturday afternoon at 3:55 p.m. There has been a tremendous amount of change since the last time we were on air on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And I'm recording this on Saturday because right now, as you're watching this, I'm in the Muny lot with Bull and G. Bush, hanging out with you guys, meeting tailgaters, getting ready for the Cardinals-Browns game that's about to tip off here in a little bit. But some things changed since Friday when we were on the air and since we had our TV show that I thought were worth talking about and getting you guys ready for later today and this afternoon's game against the Arizona Cardinals. First and foremost, we know who the quarterbacks are going to be. Deshaun Watson's playing for the Browns and Clayton Tune is playing for the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray will not be active in the game. It'll be Clayton Tune and whoever else they decide to put in a backup. But Kyler Murray was in practice all week, but head coach Jonathan Gannon said, we're playing the Browns defense. They're pretty damn good. Let's not put out Kyler Murray against this defense to start. Let's throw the rookie out and see how he does. Now, here's a stat you guys need to know about rookie quarterbacks making their first career NFL starts. Going back the last decade, so dating back to the 2013 season, quarterbacks making their first career start are 38-70-1. Once again, 38-70-1, which means Clayton Tune could be in for a long day against this Cleveland Browns defense. Now, that's taking out everything else into consideration, which we know the Browns defense is really good. Rookie quarterbacks making their first start, they tend to struggle. You could go back to DTR against Baltimore in Week 4. Now, DTR and Clayton Tune, different players, different situations. Clayton Tune was a little more prepared to play this week than DTR was against Baltimore, but it's worth mentioning that DTR was the 140th pick in the draft, while Clayton Tune was the 139th. Those two back-to-back picks in the draft, and they could be making their career debuts against high-quality defenses. We'll talk to Deshaun Watson in 1 second because he's also going to be in this game, but this Browns defense, after San Francisco, called themselves the best defense on the planet. And since then, they've been okay. Not great. I wouldn't even say good. They've been okay. They gave up 38 points to Indianapolis. They gave up 17 points in the first quarter to Seattle. Then they were stellar for 44 minutes. But then the Seahawks marched down the field in the final minute and scored the game-winning drive when the defense needed to stand up most. If you're going to call yourself the best defense on the planet, then you better damn well step up and play your ass off when it matters most. And last week, the Browns got exposed. And even going back to that San Francisco game, Jake Moody missed the game-winning field goal attempt. But, if you remember, Brock Purdy, using mainly Brandon Ayuk, drove down the field with relatively little resistance and put San Francisco in a chance to even attempt a game-winning field goal. They hadn't moved the ball since the first drive, essentially all game, and then all of a sudden, when the defense back was against the wall, when they had to make a play, they didn't. Seriously. It was a 40-yard field goal. It's a chip attempt for Jake Moody, who missed it. And the Browns get credit for that, but let's not pretend their defense went on some grand stand and held San Francisco from moving the ball and forced something. No, San Francisco moved the ball. Jake Moody should have made that field goal, and the Browns should have lost that game based on how that happened. They didn't. You celebrate a win. Awesome. Well, then you go to Indy, and Gardner Minshew tore him up. And then you go to Seattle, and that first quarter was ugly, and that last drive was ugly. The in-between was beautiful. So if you are a defense that considers yourself the best in the world, and you can make the case they've been the best in football this season, they deserve a lot of flowers. Jim Schwartz, Myles Garrett, some of these dudes are playing out of their damn minds. But there is no excuse. Zero, zilch, nada, nothing, no reason that Clayton Tune and the Arizona Cardinals should have any sort of sustained success on Sunday. You're going to give up a play here and there. It's going to happen. But it should not look anything like Indianapolis. It should not look anything like the first quarter against Seattle. It should look reminiscent to how Cincinnati looked, to how Tennessee looked, to how Pittsburgh looked minus that George Pickens pass. That is the type of defense that that kind of performance that this Cleveland Browns defense needs to put up on Sunday, regardless of what happens with Deshaun Watson and the offense. Deshaun does not have to be perfect. This offense, frankly, could suck against Arizona. I'll get to Deshaun in a sec. But this defense, going against Clayton Tune, the Cardinals are without James Conner at running back. They're without Amari DiMercato, who had been their starting running back in Conner's absence the last 2 weeks. He ain't playing. There are no excuses. And I'm telling you right now, I'm recording this on Saturday. It's airing on Sunday. And I will tell you right now, if the Arizona Cardinals move the ball up and down the field all day against this Jim Schwartz, Myles Garrett, Juan Thornhill-led defense, I'm going to get on them in the postgame show. There is no reason that should happen. None. Zero. Nada. All right, let's talk about Deshaun Watson for a sec, guys. He is back. Healthy? No idea. No idea. But he's back, and he is playing against Arizona, and at least that's a step in the right direction of getting this Browns season back on track. We did the McNuggets 5 stats on Friday, and we went through every advanced, basic number eye test. Listen, P.J. Walker is probably a great dude. His teammates seem to love him. That's half the battle, honestly. But he misses too many layups. And that's the issue with P.J. Walker. Yeah, he makes some good throws. He had a couple really nice throws to Amari Cooper on the sideline against Seattle. But for the most part, he is either at the bottom by himself or damn near close to the bottom with some other bum quarterbacks. In any metric, accuracy, anything you want to look at, there's not a number that helps P.J. Walker other than the fact he's 2-1. And quarterback wins are not a stat. They're team wins. They're not quarterback wins. Him being 2-1 is not a function of him. It's a function of the team. Once again, he got a win in San Francisco. He went 0 for 5 on the Browns' quote-unquote game-winning drive, and Jake Moody missed a field goal. Well, P.J. Walker gets credit for that? Yeah, not in my book. So, Deshaun's back. His last time we saw Deshaun Watson on the field was against Indianapolis. He was 1 for 5, threw an interception. All of his throws looked abysmal, and he obviously got knocked out, and that's what led to P.J. Walker coming back in the game. It'll be 14 days to the day since that, when Deshaun takes the field today against Arizona. That's 2 more weeks. When he first hurt his shoulder, they said it's a 2 to 6 week injury. This is 6 weeks. Bernie Kosar came on our show and said, there's a good chance Deshaun will never be 100% healthy again this season for 2023. Next season he'll get surgery, whatever, but this season he'll never be healthy. Bernie played through that exact same injury. Now, that was 20 years ago. Times have changed. Modern medicine. You guys know the deal. But I'm not a doctor. I only know what I've been told. And we've talked to a couple of doctors on the show about similar injuries to what Deshaun might be going through with his right shoulder. But hearing from Bernie, who played quarterback in this city for this team, who went through this same thing, that's about as good of a comparison as I can get, and base my opinion off of. So if he says Deshaun may not be 100% for the rest of the season, then my gut tells me that this is about as healthy as we'll see Deshaun again. And there's no better test to put him out there against, especially with Baltimore and Pittsburgh on the horizon, than the Arizona Cardinals. I said this on Thursday's show. Deshaun described this injury, his micro tear in his right rotator cuff, as a baseball injury, something baseball pitchers deal with way more than football players. Now, quarterbacks, they throw the ball just like pitchers. I get there's some similarities, but it's more of a baseball injury. And I said this on Thursday. If Shane Bieber or Tristan McKenzie or Gavin Williams or Tanner Bybee or whatever it is, if they had this injury, they'd get 2 or 3 rehab starts in Akron and Columbus before they had to go and face a major league lineup. Well, there's no AAA in the NFL, and you're playing the number 1 ranked defense in football in Baltimore next week. And then you're playing a team in 2 weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who wreaked havoc all over your offensive line in week 2 on that Monday Night Football game, where T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith scored. They scored a defensive touchdown. I think they scored 2 defensive. They scored 2 defensive touchdowns. They each had multiple sacks. I need to see what Deshaun Watson has or doesn't have before you put him out there against Baltimore. And that's why I think it's imperative that if he was healthy enough to play, and by starting, I am taking the Browns' word, and maybe that's on me. Maybe that's my fault. That'll come back to bite me in the ass. But I'm taking the Browns' word that if Deshaun is scheduled to start, he's healthy enough to play at a level that is significantly higher than what we saw against Indianapolis. I keep calling him Indianapolis. I apologize. Deshaun does not have to be a world beater in this game. Deshaun just has to prove he can make a couple throws to loosen up the defense. I go back to Chad Pennington, and I go back to watching that Indianapolis game. It was evident to anybody watching that game that Deshaun could not throw the ball more than 10 yards with any type of velocity. If I'm a defensive back, if that's the case, I'm playing press coverage, I'm making you beat me deep, and I'm jumping and driving on every underneath route humanly possible because I just don't have confidence that the opposing quarterback can throw the ball over my head. Now, we only saw 5 passes. Small sample size. I'm not making any sweeping judgments, but it was pretty clear that Deshaun and his right arm were not where that needed to be a successful NFL quarterback. He's had 2 weeks. We've seen him make a couple deeper throws in practice, but I'm not judging anything off practice. Those are controlled situations where there's no pressure. You could take your time. You could wind up, whatever. I need to see it in a game. And I think this Arizona game today is as close to a AAA equivalent as humanly possible in the NFL realm. There is no easy game in football. The Browns are 11.5-point favorites according to FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Download FanDuel.com/UCSS. Get $150 in bonus bets. They're 11.5-point favorites. That's one of the biggest spreads we've seen all season long. The Browns were also 9.5-point underdogs against San Francisco, and we all know how that ended up. The Browns not only covered, they won. Arizona was 8.5-point underdogs to Dallas in Week 3. Arizona beat Dallas. So this is not a gimme game, but it's as close to a AAA situation with Arizona's 30th ranked pass defense. They're 29th in the league in defensive EPA against per dropback, which means essentially quarterbacks have a ton of efficiency and effectiveness throwing the football against this team. Deshaun, just go out there, prove you can make a couple throws, take it easy. Let's rely on the run game. Kevin Stefanski, run the damn ball. I am maybe the single biggest person on the show in terms of campaigning for a balanced offense. Even with whoever's at quarterback, I think you need balance. Today, run the effing football. And then run it again. And then run it again. And then again. Deshaun, in a perfect world, throws 15 passes today. That's it. 15. How about he goes 12 of 15? Nah, it's a little high. 11 of 15, 123 yards and a touchdown. That's all we need. Keep it simple. Easy. Nothing too complex. Make a couple throws. Show that your arm, at least on tape, can make a couple throws with a defense. Can't put 9 guys in the box. And then lean on this offensive line. Lean on Jerome Ford. Lean on Pierre Strong. When you get to the goal line, give me a wildcat with Kareem Hunt again. Run the damn football. This is a game today. I guess I'll end with this. This is a game today that you can win with defense and you can win with your running backs. Deshaun just can't turn the ball over 5 times. And he can't get hurt. Because if he gets hurt, that is a morale gut punch to this team that I'm just not quite sure they'll be able to recover from again this season. We cannot have a repeat of Indianapolis. No. Nope. Deshaun, if you're playing, you better be ready to gut this thing out start to finish, barring some sort of catastrophe, because you can't go in for 3 drives and then come out and have P.J. Walker replace you midway through. It happened once, and we saw how that turned out against Indianapolis, and that was way too close to comfort, despite the fact the offense did score 39 points. But whatever, I'm getting sidetracked. Deshaun, if you're playing, you better damn finish this game. Yeah, you have to. You have to inspire some confidence in the team. Myles Garrett said yesterday, when we see Deshaun out there, we're confident we can beat any team in football. You know what does not instill confidence? When you have a quarterback out there who plays for a quarter, gets hit again, and has to come out. By the Browns putting him in this game, by the Browns announcing him the starter on Friday, they must feel he's good enough and healthy enough to play an entire football game. And I'm choosing to believe them. Does that make me an idiot? We're going to find out in a few hours. But all I'm saying is, Deshaun, if you're out there, just show me 1 or 2 throws. I'm just not asking for a lot, my guy. Not 1 or 2 throws where the arm still looks like it had in the past before this injury, and then play it safe, play it conservative. In this game, a punt is fine. A punt is fine. We just can't have turnovers. And that's why P.J. Walker has been such an Achilles heel to this team the last 3 weeks. The Browns should be able to win this game with defense, with special teams, and by running the football. Having Deshaun out there is the icing and the cherry on top, but it is not a necessity to beat the Arizona Cardinals. Having a good Deshaun, you need that for Baltimore. You need that for Pittsburgh. You need that for Cincinnati later in the season, for Jacksonville. There are games down the stretch where we're going to need Deshaun to be Deshaun Watson. Today is not that day. And that is why I hope Kevin Stefanski. I'm channeling all my run the damn ball energy to you, Kevin. Run the damn football. I will slam this table and shake my laptop. I do not give a flying you know what. Run the football, okay? All right. I'm in the Muny lot right now, so if you're watching this in the Muny lot, G. Bush has his panda with him. So look for the giant panda, look for giant G. Bush, look for me. We got the camera. We're looking to hang out with you guys, meet some UCSS fans, and get ready for kickoff. We'll be back at the 2-minute warning show, as always, with the Pearl and G. Bush. My final prediction for the game, Browns 20, Cardinals 10. They do not cover the 11.5 point spread, but they win by 2 scores. And anything more than 10 points, honestly, I'll be a little disappointed in this defense. So if you see us in the Muny lot, come say what's up. If not, we'll see you at the 2-minute warning show. And as always, go Browns. Peace.